Hello there, and welcome to this month's Encore stream. I think we took a month off, maybe two, 1 month. I think
We took 1 whole month off, so we have not been back for a Rocksmith Encore for 2 months.
Yeah.
What's a Rocksmith Encore,
So if
Doug?
you're wondering what a Rocksmith Encore is,
I'm wondering.
It is a loosely monthly bonus stream that we run here in Ubisoft Studio San Francisco that doesn't focus as much on that week's DLC. It's usually more of a niche kind of look at a facet or aspect of guitar playing, or music in general. In the past, we've had encores such as the physics of sound, the anatomy of metal. We had a 3-part encore. I'm telling you all these things that you hosted.
Oh, I don't know what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
sure.
I have total memory loss.
We did a 3-part on upgrading your guitar that Brian Pody led, and that was actually a every 2 weeks instead of monthly.
Yeah, well, we didn't want to drag that one
special.
out quite so long because we're giving you actionable advice you might actually be following along at home. And
Yeah. So we are this month's encore. This is the 23rd encore stream.
Excellent.
So this month we are doing a 3rd guitar show and tell. So for the most part, we'll be looking at some of the personal instruments of various staffers, mostly note trackers, but a few non-note trackers will be here today. And we're going to show off a little bit of what those guitars can do. We will be giving away prizes throughout the stream. Black Widow 9 is in the chat. She is moderating. That is Tawny.
Hi,
Hello,
Tawny.
CR, community representative for Rocksmith.
Tawny
By the way,
CR.
if you're wondering who I am,
Yeah, who the heck are
if
you?
you're wondering who I am, I'm Doug Lilly. I'm the community developer and host of the Rocksmith developer stream and this month's encore. And beside me is Dan Emmerich, the what did I call you?
Ex-community
Ex-community developer.
I've been
former- the previous-
excommunicated.
Excommunicated.
Yeah.
Dated.
You called me a rhythm assist, which
rhythm
I
assist. Rhythm assist.
Yeah, which
That's what
I
it
said
was.
I'm going to have to ask my doctor if that's right for me because I don't like that
It's better than
term. It was very
rhythm assist.
odd.
I like rhythm assist.
Okay.
I like
Is it a
words.
thing? Is that an actual
No,
word? I don't believe so. I
know.
think you're
just-
making
I
things
thought
up.
I thought I just made it up.
Well,
I
I know
hope
why
I
you're
made it
saying
up.
it. You're saying it
Yeah.
because
You identify.
I identify as a rhythm guitarist.
Yeah.
It was interesting. Vernon Reed this morning on Twitter
Yeah.
sent out. I just happened to send out a note that said he felt that because there was so much focus in the 80s of people learning how to play lead guitar that there's a lot of people today that don't appreciate or even know how to play rhythm. Certainly
Right.
not like funk rhythms, which require you to really lock in.
Right.
Whereas he had always said Hendrix did it all. Hendrix did crazy wild solos, but had that incredible bass. For,
And I imagine that's not just rhythmic playing. That includes the actual rhythms that you're
yeah.
playing, but also chords.
yeah,
a lot
and
of
switching
focus on
between them
chords.
cleanly and playing
just
partial chords.
keeping
and
locked
yeah.
in with the rhythm section.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So yeah, there's a lot of sort of lost.
But it's okay to be the rhythm guitarist.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, and in fact, you'll be playing rhythm.
I will be
Today.
playing rhythm on a guitar that is particularly well suited for rhythm,
Sure.
but is something that we have always said Rocksmith works on 6-string electrics and 4-string basses.
Yes.
And then when people say, what about extended range instruments like 7 strings or 8-string guitars or a 5-string bass? And we always say, it'll probably detect
Yeah.
the notes.
Yeah.
Or depending on your tuning, you can try it. But yeah, I mean, like, go ahead. It's still a guitar.
If nothing else, you can play the standard EADG of a
Right,
4-string
just don't
bass.
use those additional strings. It works absolutely fine. But if you really want to sort of like retune and translocate it on, transpose it on the fly, you can do that. People do. But every once in a while, somebody would say, does it work with a 12-string? And I said, no, it does not. And that's, I found out was a lie
Yeah.
when I bought an electric 12-string.
So this is for you is just sort of this is you making up for years.
Well,
of
no.
lying.
I was misinformed by by Brian McCune. And I said, I thought this didn't work with 12-string. He said, no, we never had an electric 12-string to test it with. And I said, so
Gotcha.
it took me buying a 12-string electric guitar, which is this,
That is
to
that.
find out. And then I plugged it in and it worked fine.
Yeah.
So,
and it sounds good.
This is a 2005 Fender Stratocaster XII. We should also be
Which is
doing
a 12,
yeah.
which is 12 in Roman numerals.
Right, we should be doing the Encore. This is Encore XXIII,
yeah,
so that
but
we
it's-
get classy with it, right?
Yeah, we didn't. We don't
No.
do that. We just use
And I tracked this down last year. I really wanted an electric 12-string. I mean, not only am I sort of a completist where I need one of everything, but
Right.
I grew up listening to Tom Petty, the Beatles, a lot of classic rock sounds where 12-string was common. 12 strings are a little bit more common in the acoustic realm because it's assumed you're playing a rhythm part, you want to fill it out, you want it to sound really big in the studio. When you don't have a 12 string, there's a trick called the Nashville tuning where you take a guitar and you basically tune a 6 string to the higher strings on a 12 string, and then you blend that in as its own instrument. This is a very common thing.
Chorded.
I mean, sometimes, but sometimes you run leads, I suppose. You're kind of hearing 12-string sounds more often than you know.
Right.
I have a guitar at home that I really, really love, and I didn't get it. They made it in a 12-string, but my 6-string is rare enough. I've never been able to find the 12-string. Yeah. And finally, last year, I gave up. And I said, that's it. I got to see if there's another 12-string electric out there for me because I'm starting to write my own music, and this matches some of the music that I'm doing. And I found one, and it got snaked out from under me at the last minute. So I found it again with just a tiny little bit of damage. And that's what this one is. This is a 2005 made in Japan. Actually, it says crafted in Japan. Fender Stratocaster 12, they only made these twice. They made them once in the mid-90s and once in the mid-2000s. And there was no 60s 12-string Stratocaster. It was a different 12-string model that Fender made. So this is a bit of a novelty. It's like, oh, it's the guitar you know, but with 6 extra strings. So this is Lake Placid Blue.
Yeah.
And if it's okay with you, I'm just going to answer some questions about it that I'm sure people have.
If you have questions, reach out to Black Widow 9 in chat. She will get those questions to us. Before I let Dan get out of here, I am going to run back over to the podium so I'll be able to see some of those questions because right now I have no idea, and I'd rather you not look at my monitor.
Right, yeah. It's there, don't worry.
Yeah.
The number one question I get is, don't you have to tune it all the time? No, you don't if it's well made. 12 strings are finicky because the way that the strings work is the lower 4 strings, the E, A, D, and G, are they have 2 strings each an octave apart. So I don't know. Oh, we don't have live audio yet, but you could hear their individual strings. But then the top 2, the B and the E, are the same string just doubled.
Okay, interesting. So and I found it interesting because I always assumed that the lower octave would be closer to the top. Closer to the player.
It depends on which manufacturer. Different companies do it different ways. You can do it either way. I prefer to have the higher note first because it sounds kind of exotic. You instantly know that you're hearing a 12-string. But I'm pretty sure Rickenbacker does it the other way around.
Okay.
With the thicker string, and that's how I always thought it was. But now, whether this is right or wrong, this is the way that I do it.
Sure.
And the other question I get is, if there's 12 tuners, where do all the strings go? So the answer is 6 of them go through the bridge, and 6 of them go through the body. So the body is basically routed like a standard Stratocaster. This particular one is based on the 62 Stratocaster. So I changed some of the plastics. I didn't like the off-white, yellowed kind of vintage plastic that it came with. Aged. And it turns out that in 1962, 1 year, Fender moved this one of these 11 pickguard screws here. So if you have an industry standard like how everybody else does it, nope, I had to order the special 62 reissue edition of the pickguard, which is stupid, and then I changed a couple of the other pieces of plastic and added more chrome.
This looks like your...
This is totally me, yeah. Like I had these chromed bell knobs for a while, and then I picked up like an aluminum selector switch.
The whole thing is very sort of like 50s space age.
Yeah, I mean, well, also, I just love blue, white, and silver together. It's like my favorite trio of colors. So I may actually wind up changing these pickup covers to be silver as well. It may be overkill. I know that, like, knowing my visual aesthetic, I actually do believe there is such a thing as overkill.
Right.
But, yeah. And the other thing is, I thought that the headstock was going to be super wicked long, right? It is exactly a 1/4 inch longer than a standard Stratocaster.
Really? That's all?
Yeah, that's all it is. In the 60s, when Fender made a guitar called the Electric XII, the Electric 12, it had a big Smurf headstock. It looked like a Smurf hat, so it would like go over. Those, yeah, you might need to get a special case for. This fits in a standard Stratocaster case.
That's really convenient.
So yeah,
that's nice.
I love it.
Yeah. And when did you get this one?
I got this a year ago this month. I got it in July 2018. Yes, thank you. Yeah, happy
anniversary?
Acquisition
Yeah,
Day,
sure,
I suppose.
Sure. And I think there's a link to a further description that you have about this guitar.
For whatever sick reason, I have a website for all the guitars I've owned in past and present, with stories and lovely photos from my wife, Katrinauk, who's a professional photographer. She also built the website for me.
Yeah.
So if you want to see more, I armed Tawny with the URL.
So that should hopefully be dropping in chat. But bunnyyears.net?
Yes, bunnyyears.net/guitar is
you can find this one on there.
Dan Amrich's Guitar Archive.
With the rest of your collection, past and present.
Past and present, but not future.
Okay.
Not
cool.
yet.
And if you're wondering, so I was going to play a different bass today, but I grabbed this one at the last minute. This is an Ibanez. I've got the whole name.
Well, it's in the
there.
sound hole. You can read it out of the sound hole. Yeah.
Ibanez.
This is one of the office bases. We have a lot of different kinds of instruments so that we can test Rocksmith.
Just a bunch of letters.
It's just a bunch of letters?
Yeah,
but that's what it is.
Yeah. I've got it written down over there.
It's a PCBE 112 MH.
Thanks for handling the reading for me.
Yeah. So we have an acoustic bass here so that we
bass.
can test acoustic bass with the game.
And you don't see acoustic basses a lot. You're much more likely to see like an upright bass or a double bass.
Right.
Than you are
a Travis
just an
Kindred
acoustic,
model bass, if you will.
As opposed to just an acoustic bass guitar. But this thing is really fun. I don't know what these strings are made of, but they're very resonant and they sound nice.
I think they're just coated phosphor bronze.
Okay.
That's what I would guess.
I've never used strings like this.
And you're a big Violent Femmes fan, so the opportunity to play acoustic bass
yeah.
guitar is very attractive to you.
Yes, exactly. I am. Violent Femmes, self-titled, one of my favorite albums of all time. A lot of acoustic bass on that sort of punk acoustic group.
I guess so, yeah.
They're fun. They're a fun group. But that's not what we're playing right now.
No,
we're playing one of your picks.
Yeah, and this was really because I was trying to think of what in the library has a 12-string on it. That made the most sense. And again, it's not super common, but I think it's time that I actually acknowledge something on the show that I've been very scared to talk about this, but I'm from New Jersey. Yeah, and I've always said that I'm from the Philly area or the tri-state area to try to avoid the fact that I'm from New Jersey.
Greater Philly area?
Yeah, very greater Philly area. 45 minutes out of Philly.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry, if you grew up rooting for the Phils and the Eagles, then you're outside Philly. So, hey, pot steaks. I decided Wanted Dead or Alive is probably one of the songs with the biggest, most recognizable 12-string, that descending run that typifies the song. Now, that was played on a 12-string Ovation, and we'll get into the argument of, is Ovation an electric guitar or an acoustic guitar? Because it's an acoustic guitar that's built to be amplified. Some people don't like the sound of it, very harsh. It's integral to this. Now, Brendan West, knowing that nobody's going to plug an electric 12-string into...
Because what kind of person would do that?
Right, a lunatic. And besides, we tested it, and it doesn't work, right? Works totally fine. However, the guitar tone for Wanted Dead or Alive on Rhythm Path is doubled to sound like a 12-string if you're plugging in a 6. So please enjoy the sound of an 18-string guitar. It kind of sounds like we have a pitch shifter in the signal chain, but it's just that's the nature of what it is. There's a pitch shifter applied.
I don't think
that gives it an octave.
I don't think I've heard this situation yet.
No, we've
heard this.
We've certainly never done it here. I've heard it at my desk, but that's it.
And this sounds, as far as I know, it sounds just fine because I can only really hear it from.
The worst part is going to be when I mess up the notes, which you can always count on, because even though I have been playing this, it was required growing up in high school when Bon Jovi was big to learn this song. I am now mixing the way I used to play it with the way that I should be playing it according to Rocksmith, and so there's going to be some fluffed notes, and they're going to hurt.
Yeah, it'll be fine. I've got a little bit to hang out. So let's go ahead and get started.
Let's do it. Let's get this underway, and then
Wanted Dead or Alive. We've got Tawny in the chat. That's Blackwidow9. Again, if you have any questions, make sure you reach out to her. We've got prizes. We're doing some giveaways throughout the stream. Those will be at her leisure, so she can run those whenever she would like. And now, I will shut up.
Oh, and it starts with harmonics, so that's going to be extra weird. Also, these are not inverted. Doug, take the solo.
You got it. Oh, I just played this part.
I should note that this song does have my favorite chord in it, which is the C add 9. Has a lot of them. There it is. For whatever reason, that's my favorite chord in the world. Mostly I just wanted to sing along.
It's really hard. I was going to say I'm really proud of us for not singing along through that. 'Cause it's a really tough song.
It's totally
To
the
stay quiet, yeah.
open the windows in the Camaro,
Yeah.
take the T-top off,
I-
and just shout it at the top of your lungs in your IROC.
I don't know if that's an East Coast thing. I don't know if
It's
Bon Jovi-
definitely an East Coast thing. I mean, I like very much warped. I don't know how the rest of the world saw Bon Jovi, but I was a freshman in high school when they just started to break with the self-titled album with like Runaway. That got a lot of
Was this
airplay.
Slippery When Wet?
This is Slippery When
Okay.
Wet. So this was the follow-up when they had a little bit of
was-
heat, and this was the monster breakthrough.
That was
for
my
the-
first
yeah.
cassette tape.
Oh.
As a little baby Doug. I'm going to take off these headphones and walk around to the podium.
You swap around there, yeah.
You can.
I'm
just kinda
sure
roll
I
off.
can
You
come up
find
with something to say
I'm going to be really quiet
while you do this.
for just a moment.
that was so worth it. So I'm going to actually reveal a detail about the guitar that probably only Jean 308 cares about. The nut width on this is not particularly wide. A lot of 12 strings, you have to have a wider fretboard and a wider nut, so a lot of people don't find them comfortable to play. I double-checked it. This is a 42-millimeter nut. The smallest nut they make for Strats is 41. The standard nut they make is 43. So this is actually smaller, even though it has twice as many strings. It's like 1.65 inches. So, yeah, I would never have designed a 12-string myself and gone, you know what we need is a thinner neck if we're going to put more strings on there. But I really think it's one of the reasons that I have fallen so much and so deeply in love with this guitar.
I do have some questions for you, Dan.
Oh, good. I'm happy to answer them.
The first one from Spidey Bry 1.
Spidey Bry.
Any idea what the nut width is on a 12-string?
No way, really? See,
Yeah.
I am
First
connected
question.
with you,
First
Spidey
question.
Bry. My Spidey sense was tingling. Yes.
And yeah. Bitchspiel wants to see the bridge. Show us the bridge.
Show us the bridge. Okay, well, the
Show us
bridge.
bridge.
The bridge is, well, it's a standard hardtail bridge, except it's a standard 12-string hardtail bridge. So like I said, 6 of the strings load through the bridge, which some guitars in the 50s and 60s did, and many student models still do today. And then the rest go through the back. So the saddles are the same width as a standard saddle, but there's just half of it is where one string goes through and half of it is the other. Should I rush the camera? Is that the easiest way to do this?
Possibly. Is there?
Will it
or do we have- do
will
we
it
have a
hold
person?
focus, or are we can we do closes, or are we
Because
not able to
you're
do
all-
close-ups
your
today?
cable's all wrapped around.
We're gonna try. Well, we're gonna. Okay. Here we go. Yes.
Oh,
No. That's
oh.
great. That's great. So as you can see, here, I'll actually move it a little bit closer. No, I'm
I-
not going to move it a little bit closer because then we can't see it. So the bridge it looks like a standard thing. I'm actually trying to catch the light because that'll show you the half saddles that are there. Obviously, there we go. So you can see it's like if you compressed a normal saddle, it's just half of that, and then the other half comes in through the bottom. It's a really weird thing. Obviously, an engineering challenge for people that do 12-string guitars. But that's what it is. It's once you get it tuned, and once you get it strung up, it's really no problem. This mostly just lives in my home studio, Shabby Road.
Yeah.
And when it's at home, there's regular temperature and stuff like that. No problem. Even though these are vintage Kluson style open slotted tuners. They've been fantastic. I thought they were going to give me a lot of trouble. Obviously, they gave me some trouble when I brought it in on BART. I took it under the bay. I brought it up here under the hot lights. It's been a little finicky since then because, the 12 strings get a bad rep for you spend more time tuning them than you do playing them. But this is not one of those guitars.
A few more questions, and
Sure.
then I'm gonna push through these because we're almost
Oh, yeah.
halfway through the normal.
Yeah, no, well,
we're probably gonna go over today.
Everybody else is playing
yeah.
6 strings. I'm the only one playing 12. I need twice as much time.
Sure. Sock Bunny Sims, who I believe I don't think I've seen Sock Bunny Sims for a little bit. Hello. Who came to us from BBQ Kyle's stream. So BBQ Kyle is also in the chat with us. Anyway, Sock Bunny Sims wants to know if the double strings hurt the fingers more, like if they have more of an impact on.
It's a
more
different
than a 6 string.
feel. It's weird at first. It's certainly because again, for every note you're playing 2 strings instead of 1.
I imagine you would feel a little bit clumsy at first.
Yes, and you will, and that's why these are primarily not used for lead, but for rhythm, because you just want to throw your hand down and strum all of them across. But these, when I got this guitar, it was strung with 10s, which is normal for a Stratocaster, but not normal for this guitar because the neck was bowing pretty hard.
Oh,
so I picked up some Ernie Ball 12-string Slinkies, and the 2 top strings are both 8s. Okay. So and suddenly the guitar was like, that's what I've been waiting for. Like, I think it was actually set up for super light 8 strings. So I don't find this difficult to play at all. I don't find that it hurts my fingers any more than a normal one, but I also have very light strings here. And I think that helps make it so super playable. But yes, it will feel weird. I would recommend you have calluses first, at least a little bit, or that you know what you're. But yeah, sometimes my fingers feel a little bit numb if I hold things forever and ever and ever.
2 more. Francois Luong SF, who's downstairs.
Hi, Francois.
Who's
out there in
right
internet
now.
land, and also just to the left of the camera.
Or do you just want to ask him?
Yeah, do you want to
I'll
just
ask
come
him.
on
Okay,
and say hello and ask me a question? Sure. What's the other question that
okay,
you have?
The other question,
while he gets suited up,
is also an internal question from Squirrely Ninja, Chris Wu. Questions your math. Wouldn't that make it a 24-string?
For what?
Applying a 12-string effect onto a 12-string guitar.
But it was a single octave effect, you see. So it was only doing an octave on one set of strings.
How does it know?
Because the other one is doubled. See, so the low strings are double up to the high, and then we actually have high strings. So that's not an extra string. That's duplicating one string twice.
Right. Which is
so you've got low, middle, and high.
But
18 strings.
But then wouldn't
this is exactly the kind of thing that Chris Wu wants to get into an argument
about. Wouldn't it normally be a 10-string guitar if these 2 strings are both just doubled the same?
Oh, all right. Now you're being picky. I actually have a 9-string mandolin at home, which is the lower 3 are not doubled, but the top 3 are. Or no, it's the other way around. The lower 3 are doubled, and the top 3 are singles. It's very strange. Oh. So anyway, yes. Hi, Francois.
Hi, Dan.
How are you doing?
Good. How about you?
I'm all right. I look forward to you talking about your guitar soon. But what's your question about the 2005 Stratocaster 12,
actually, it's not
crafted
about
in Japan?
Your Fender 12. It's a general guitar question.
All right. Well, then this is a good transition to get out of the 12-string stuff and back into regular guitar.
Yes. Without any budget consideration, what would be your dream guitar to acquire right now?
Right now?
Mm-hmm.
Without any budget consideration?
Yes. No budget consideration.
Wow, that's difficult. You know the fight in my family about the Gibson Moderne, right?
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I have read about it.
I've always wanted a Gibson Moderne. It's one of the ugliest guitars Gibson has ever made. It was too ugly to survive. It was designed in '57. It was too radical then. It's still too radical now. It's a very weird asymmetrical guitar.
And it doesn't seem very ergonomic either.
It's sort of it's hard to describe. One day maybe I'll just do an entire encore on weird guitars. I don't know. I hate to say this because I think my wife is watching, but I actually feel like I have a lot of guitars that I really love and need. As a Beatles fan, I always wanted a Rickenbacker 325. You know, like every other idiot, I'm like, it would be cool to have a 612 double neck. You know, like Jimmy Page, the EDS 12, whatever it is. But yeah, who the hell needs that? Why? Is there a right answer to this? Are you going to give me whatever my heart desires? Is that what this is about?
Yes,
that would
just
be nice.
Find me $1 million.
Really nice.
Oh, all right.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna go ahead and thank you very much for joining us, Dan.
Thank you for letting me drone on and on and on.
Sure. Francois, we'll see you in just a moment. Right now, we're gonna take a very quick break, watch a video while we swap some people around, and we'll be right back with more guitars and more music right after that.
Learn a song.
Rocksmith is the fastest way to learn to play guitar. Plug in any electric guitar or bass into your PC or game console and choose from more than 700 songs. Learn to play in 60 days with Rocksmith. Available now.
Didn't you write this song? Yes. But I forgot how to play it on guitar. Is that normal? I don't know. Maybe. See, I don't remember any of this. It's good though. It's a good song. It's not bad. Not bad. I'm now wondering if I wrote this.
And welcome back to this month's Encore stream. This is our 23rd Encore stream. If you're just tuning in and you're not sure what an Encore stream is, we do these about once a month. They tend to take a closer look at one aspect of guitar playing, the culture or education. This month, we are looking at some of our staffers' personal guitars. And in a show and tell scenario, this is guitar show and tell number 3. Right now, we're going to take a look. We're going to say hi to our next guests, one of whom you can probably guess, Francois Luong. Welcome.
Wow. Thank you.
You're and to your left is Akshay Balakrishnan. How you doing?
Hello, I'm
Where's
good.
Scrag? Akshay's back.
I'm back.
Is this the first time you both have been on the stream together?
Yeah, the
Yes.
first time we've been paired
This
up.
is fun. This
Yeah.
is fun.
It's a good time.
So we're here to show off guitars. I'll start with Francois since you're right here. Now, have we seen?
We have seen this guitar twice, I believe.
Twice? Okay.
Once when I did You and I by Lady Gaga with Anthony, and the second time when I did a Green Day song with Jason Coco.
Okay, so it's been a bit.
Yeah,
It's been a while. So tell us about your Gretsch.
Are you
This
ready?
this Gretsch. One of you. You have a few. How many Gretches?
I only have 2, actually.
You only have 2. Okay. Why do
But-
I think you have more? Because you just
Because
talk about them a lot.
I talk a
Just
lot
talk
about
about-
Gretches.
Yeah, just talk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you ready for a mouthful?
Yes.
Okay, so this is the Gretsch Electromatic Jet BT G5220 in Casino Gold, which I acquired back in December as an early Christmas present. I've always been a fan of Gretches ever since I saw Chris Cornell play a Duo Jet, Gold Sparkle Jet in
Yeah.
the Black Hole Sun music video.
Yeah.
Of course, I've never been able to afford an actual Sparkle Jet, as the cost. The production model runs for $2,600, I think. But Gretsch has been making this really great affordable line called Electromatic, made in China. And last year they released the Jet BT, BT standing for Birdtron pickups, which are those pickups that first appeared in the Streamliner series, which is their other affordable series line made in Indonesia.
Okay.
And that you can see on my black Gretsch, which is a 2622 Streamliner.
So I see. Okay, there's a knob up there.
Yes,
Okay, what,
I'm assuming you're referring to the master volume knob.
Is that the so that's the master volume?
Yes, and the other two knobs. Oops.
Almost clocked me there. We're good. We're good.
So you have neck volume, bridge volume, and master tone.
Okay.
Regular pickup selector switch, so bridge pickup, both pickups, neck pickup. This is also available as a player's edition version, which is one of those that are made in Japan that cost $2,700. The player's edition series is different from the vintage series, also made in Japan, in that it incorporates more modern features. The vintage version of the Duo Jet is, even though the Gretsch Jet is often associated with Les Paul guitars due to the single cut shape, they're actually more built like archtop guitars.
Okay.
From the beginning, Gretsch guitars have been completely chambered, so you can hear the hollowness here. Whenever you're playing it acoustically, it's as loud. Yeah, it's as loud as almost as loud as a semi-hollow. Of course, you can't hear it because it's not mic acoustically.
Right. Right.
But also, and this is where that black book is going to be useful. Built like an archtop guitar in that. It has
got it.
the vintage Gretsch Jets, and this is a white penguin, by the way, have a floating bridge. They say the bridge sits on a piece of wood that is not glued to the body. They have a trapeze tailpiece or a B7 Bigsby. There's the B7 being the Bigsby without the tension bar, and that doesn't look like a horseshoe. Since the bridge is elevated by the piece of wood, that allows the break angle to be really steep without any tension bar. And because the bridge is so elevated, the pickups are protruding a lot more from the body cavity, and the neck joint, the neck block joint here is elevated to elevate the fretboard as well to lower the action. Here, as you can see, because it's using an adjustomatic bridge with post drilled into the body, the fretboard here is almost flush to the body, more like Les Paul.
Yeah, that's really interesting.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you, Francois. And Akshay,
Hi.
you've got your Traven.
Yep. That's the only guitar I own.
You're show it off at every opportunity.
Yeah. No, so I'm only going to tell you the truth about this wonderful guitar because you've
Please.
seen it like every single time I've been on the stream. It's a wonderful blue Gibson that has 6 strings in it and is a signature model of Joe DiMaggio,
Really?
bassist
Really?
of Slipknot. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Some fun facts for you.
Okay.
There you go.
Cool. Well, we know everything we need to know about that.
And now here's Wonderwall.
And now, except we're not doing that. So Francois selected as the song to show off this Gretsch, "Love Song" by The Cure.
Yes.
We convinced Akshay to play bass on it.
More like a dragoon to him.
Yeah. How's that looking?
I'm really glad I did the linear exercises. Both of them, they come really handy.
Yeah. Well, there's a third one that's coming out on Tuesday.
Spoilers.
But now let's take a look. "Love Song" by The Cure. And remember, if you have any questions, reach out to Black Widow 9 in the chat. She will get those questions to us, and I will pass those along to our guests.
I'm very tempted to.
Not a whole lot of questions during that, just a lot of people saying, "I love that song."
It's really good.
It's
I was really tempted
yeah.
to sing along too.
Yeah, it is. That's the most difficult part of this is
Yeah.
not singing along because we are in an office. There are people working around us downstairs. You're usually one of them.
Ostensibly.
Yeah, but you know what? We can't hear you downstairs.
You can't hear us. Let me see.
No.
You shouldn't tell us that.
We'll do some
Well,
investigating.
unless
Not
Katie's
allowed to know
here.
that.
Okay. Okay.
If Katie's here, we'll hear her.
Okay, so we'll investigate when our opportunities for singing exist. So
so
we do
excited.
have a couple of questions from Dan Amrick.
Yeah.
Akshay, for real, what brand and model is that base?
It's a Traben. I forget the model name. Unfortunately, there's only a
it's your
few.
Traben.
There's only a few models out there, and this is the one with the. The model is the bassist of Disturbed, whose name escapes me. It's not Joe DiMaggio. It might be Joe DiMaggio.
Is it John DiMaggio?
Is it John DiMaggio or Joe? Either way. Anyway, yeah, that's the one model that. Yeah, it
Is
should
it
be
an
pretty easy
active
to find.
base?
It is an
Yeah.
active bass. I was playing
Which
with.
John 308 asked about.
Yeah.
I said
So
it's very active.
it is very active. I had cranked him up on purpose and then forgot to talk about it. Yeah, you got high, mid, low. They were all cranked up, and then half volume, half-ish, as close as I could make
it
it.
was still pretty punchy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Okay.
not too loud.
Yeah,
And
okay.
it didn't distort, but it was pretty. Like it was.
it was getting there.
It
I
was
like-
evident.
I
in the
love
mix.
the sound, and I wish somebody was like, turn it down, and then I would have done it. But
I
oh
was
well,
fine with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did somebody tell you to turn it down?
nobody did.
Okay, cool.
Rock on.
Well, thank you both very much for joining us and displaying your instruments.
Yeah.
Right now, we're gonna get set up for the next couple of guests.
Yeah.
I don't have a video right now, so I'm just gonna talk for a bit. If you are just joining us and you're like, this isn't Thursday, what are these people doing? We'll talk a little bit more about the Encore stream. So this is our 23rd Encore stream ever. We skipped last month, and this month's so Encore streams are normally a monthly-ish stream that we do that takes a look at a specific topic related to guitar or musicianship. We've recently had streams on exercises and warm-ups from one of our next guests. We've had Encore streams based on improvisation. We've had Encore streams talking about a particular song, like "The Rooster" by Alice in Chains, looking at the lyrics and the making of the melody and how it was constructed, both from a musician standpoint and also historical, and sort of how it relates personally to the songwriters. So those are all available on Twitch and YouTube if you find our channels there. They'll probably be linked in the chat. Go to our channels there. You can find all of our previous streams, including our previous Encore streams. On Twitch, I know there is a set list of our Encore streams, which currently has streams 1 through 22. So check those out, and then let us know on social media what you think. We are on Facebook, just facebook.com/Rocksmith. We are also on Twitter and Instagram @RocksmithGame, just as is written in this stream right now. Our Twitch name is @RocksmithGame, and that's how you can find us on Twitter and Instagram as well. Our next guests are tuning right now, so in the meantime, I want to let you know that if you have any questions, please reach out to Black Widow 9 in the chat. That is Tawny. She's the community representative for Rocksmith, and she will also pass any questions that you have for us along to me through the magic of the internet, and I will get those questions to our guests as we're able to through the rest of the stream. And I believe we are ready to say hello to our next two guests. Hello, next two guests.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello, host.
Hi,
Hey,
Brian Chu.
Duke.
How's it going?
It's going well.
Good, good. And Anthony Martinez.
Hello.
Hello. I haven't seen. So I've seen your PRS.
Uh-huh.
So this is what she was showing off. What? Tell us about what we're seeing here.
This is a custom 24 PRS.
Do you need me to hold your phone, or are you using?
Oh
it?
no, I was just checking.
Okay.
It's a 10 top. 10 top, so that means they use like a premium, really nice flame maple top. You kind of have to pay a premium to get something that looks this nice. And this is from 2019, so this is a fairly
brand
new baby.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah, it's awesome. Some of the specs I'll go over real quick. Rosewood fretboard, mahogany neck and body, flame maple top. Has a really nice trim, 5-way switch. What else could I say about it? Pattern thin neck. That's about all you have to know if you're looking for a PRS to buy. And it's by far the nicest guitar I own, probably.
Yeah,
It's
I know you've
crazy nice.
You've been extremely happy with it.
I think
since you
everybody in
picked it
the
up.
office loves it too.
Yeah.
Like
Oh yeah, that's fair to say.
And your purchase of that let me get a new guitar as well.
Oh
So-
yeah. I needed to let go of a couple things.
Yeah,
but
yeah, and I was happy to help. Anthony Martinez, so you've talked about this guitar
Mm-hmm.
in the past, but this is the first time that you've brought it into the studio.
Yeah, actually,
So
it's the
glad
first
it made
time
it here.
I've traveled with it. Yeah,
So-
I commuted with it this morning. So this is a Taylor 716 CE. We're looking at a, I think it's a Sitka or Lutz spruce top, rosewood sides and back, mahogany neck, ebony fingerboard, tusk and Mercata nut and saddle. The standard Taylor nickel tuners. This is the nicest guitar I own, and I absolutely love this.
I love
this
that
instrument.
acoustic. Like a lot of lower end acoustics that you'll buy, or just like, I guess not lower end, but kind of regular acoustics. Like kind of the low end of a lot of the times is a little tubby and boomy. But
Yeah.
I noticed immediately that this guitar across the entire spectrum is just completely balanced. Like just playing a chord, there's not too much bass, there's not too much highs. It's just like sits well.
That's
space.
exactly what I love about this. I mean, the feel of the neck is fantastic, but
Taylor necks are great.
oh man, yeah, I have another Taylor. It's my Traveler Taylor, the one that I'm
Yeah.
not afraid to bring outside. And the neck is similar, but all around. I mean, this is sort of like an all-purpose guitar. The size, it's a Grand Symphony, so it's a little bit bigger. Not as big as a Dreadnought or Jumbo, but the shape is actually relatively new to the Taylor family.
Okay.
I think it's they started introducing Grand Symphony guitars in '06, but you have like your what is it, like the Big Baby, the GS Mini, and then you get to the Grand Auditorium or the Grand Concert Grand Auditorium. There's another sort of hybrid of that plus a Dreadnought. And then it's the Grand Symphony, which is a little bit bigger. It's almost, I think it's described by Taylor as like a turbocharged version of the Grand Auditorium, in that its body is a little bit wider. The bottom is a little bit more hefty, but the clarity is still there. And this is actually, it's really cool. When I went guitar shopping with Dan, the whole point was that I wanted to treat myself for my birthday last year. And Dan, he's just a great person to shop guitars with. He actually found this online at the Guitar Center in SF.
Yeah.
It was in their inventory, but it was like tucked away somewhere, and it took us, I think, 3 people to talk to try to get it out.
One of the employees was like, "I really want to get this. I'm just hiding it until I can save up for it."
Shoot, someone asked about it. But yeah, thank you again, Dan, for finding this because it's just fantastic.
I also want to. I really like how tasteful the inlays are.
Oh, I know they're super. Yeah, they're unique.
Yeah.
They don't repeat. I mean, it's just
Interesting. There's no 3rd fret.
Yeah,
marker.
that's the first thing.
right. Just back here, but no inlay.
Good.
Yeah.
And
I guess the inlays on here as well. PRS is famous for putting different birds on the fret. So I don't know exactly every single bird. I think this is a swallow. There's a hummingbird here and right here, and so there's custom 22 and custom 24. Only the custom 24s have this little tiny owl right here.
Oh, okay. See this now. So I know I have the PRS Kingfisher bass. I don't know if there's actually a Kingfisher on the fretboard.
I wonder.
I'll have to look into that.
Probably is.
Yeah,
probably
Knowing
does.
PRS.
Yeah.
There's probably like
Probably
a key
is.
somewhere that explains what each.
Find your bird.
Yeah.
All right.
Which
all
one
right,
are you?
So, all right. Let's go ahead and get to the song, so that in case our last guests have meetings that they need to get to, because we do work here sometimes. What song are you playing?
Come Away With Me.
Come Away With Me. Nora Jones.
And
just
we're also
released
playing
last
that
year.
song.
Okay.
Come away with me in the night. Come away with me, and I will write you a song. Come away with me on a come away where they can't tempt us with their eyes. And I want to walk with you on a cloudy day in fields where the yellow grass grows knee high. So won't you try? Come away with me, we'll kiss on a mountain top. Come away with me, and I never stop loving you.
Those parts work really nice together.
Yeah.
Did either of you note track this one?
I don't think I did. I forget who did. Maybe I did.
I thought it was you.
Maybe it was me. Well, I do know the guitar player on here.
Oh, yeah.
It's a
Okay.
great session jazz guitar player named Adam Rogers. It's like one of my favorite guitar players of all time. You should check him out. He does everything.
Was
Like
it Alan or Adam?
Adam Rogers. He like plays a lot of funk. He has a kind of experimental Hendrixy like fusion rock band called Dice that's really cool and just like and it's just awesome. And then he's also a killer straight ahead jazz player. He just kind of does everything, does a lot of session work. This album in particular just has a lot of great session guitar playing on it from a lot of pretty big guitar guys.
Yeah.
I mean, in the session world, you kind of have to know them to
Yeah.
to really appreciate.
The whole
they're
album
doing.
is just tastefully done.
Yeah.
And I first heard about Adam Rogers when I saw him play with Chris Potter at Yoshi's Oakland.
Yeah.
And that performance just sort of blew my mind. It was like,
Yeah.
who is this person? Like,
Yeah.
his style is so unique.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just one of those things where he has his own, like, audio fingerprint. Like, once
Yeah.
you've heard him, you hear him again, you know it's Adam Rogers.
Yeah, he can play some really wild, out there stuff, but then at the same time, he can play like the most Hendrixy. Just, it's so good. He's so good.
Yeah.
Check him out.
I do have a couple questions here
Yeah.
for you guys. One from Hadaz. I think I pronounced that wrong every time. The gist of the question is Hadaz is looking to build their own guitar. So they want to know, if I'm reading the question correctly, they want to know if it's better to buy a used body and neck from other guitar, pulled from other guitars, or if it's better to buy like a new neck and a new body, or even maybe a kit if you're going to build your own guitar.
Oh, I thought he was gonna like start from scratch or something.
Well, what would you like if you wanted to build your guitar? What would be your preferred starting
I mean,
point?
there's different levels of building, right?
That's true,
There's
yeah.
there's like chopping down a tree and then like
Red Special.
Yeah.
but there's a lot of websites that you can go to. Warmoth.com sells a lot of really great parts, and basically they have a ton of different guitar parts, shapes and stuff. Like
Yeah.
they have the Les Paul shape probably. Definitely know they have Strat and Telly shapes. Maybe they got some like extra weird ones too, like Explorer shapes, Jazz Masters, whatever. And then they also have necks. It is a little bit on the pricey side, but you can also there's a lot of different websites just specifically, or companies that specifically help you do that kind of thing.
I believe one of the implications of the question is that they're planning on messing up their first time. So in that case,
like a starter kit. I think that
starter kit.
Yeah, you can get a starter kit. I know Kiesel sells full guitar kits for pretty cheap, so you can get like a Kiesel kit for like maybe $400 to $500, probably. I don't know if the price has changed, but that's what I remember them being. Also, you could always just buy something as simple as I don't know, like Strat body.
Yeah, just buy
Just buy a
used
cheap
body.
Strat body and a cheap Strat neck and put stuff
cram them
together.
together until they work.
Yeah.
Cool.
So
The other question is about your fingerboard. Now you said rosewood. Is that still the case? Is that a problem because of the rosewood restrictions that have come down?
oh, rose. I don't know.
So you
I
think
don't
it's
know.
I mean, it could just be.
I
like
think there's
other
specific
rosewood
versions of rosewood that are like I don't know
that are
there's, like,
okay.
that are okay.
Okay,
I
so it's
don't
probably
know.
fine.
I don't know anything about those.
Hopefully, nobody will be
laws.
outside of the door
Yeah.
waiting for you to confiscate your guitar.
Yeah, I think it's a bigger thing overseas where like I know that people that buy guitars with like specific woods, like in Europe, like they get customs calls, like, oh, what are the specs on this
Yeah.
guitar? Because
Yeah.
they have to know.
How exotic is it?
But
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't have too much experience with that.
But you got it. Nobody. You
Yeah.
didn't have to sign anything.
Yeah, got this straight from PRS.
And there's one more that just came through. SkyMoose99 wants to know how to best improve detection for an acoustic guitar played through Rocksmith.
I mean, it's always safe to calibrate and run through the tuner.
Anytime you would retune or even shift, depending on where your microphone is set up.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you have an acoustic electric, make sure that you're working with a fresh battery. That helps make sure there's nothing wrong with the cable, and then again calibrate, tune, and give it a go. It also, I think, depends on the song you're playing. You know, if it deals with a lot of strumming, you might run into detection issues. Another thing you might consider is using one of those sound hole plugs to sort of isolate the sound and just have it,
So you have a few less overtones.
Yeah, like it might support a stronger output signal.
Okay. Yeah, cool. Thank you both very much for joining us. We've got 2 more guests coming. We're going to take a quick break as we get set up for those 2. And again, if you have any more questions, make sure you reach out to Black Widow 9. Again, thank you to Brian Chu and Anthony Martinez for joining us. And we'll be back with more music right after that.
Rocksmith is designed to be a top-to-bottom guitar learning experience. We've got great ways for you to learn songs, but at some point we have to show you how to play bends, how to play the slides, how to play these basic things that you're going to play in all the songs. So that's what lessons are for. We wanted the experience with lessons to be very personal. If you're just starting guitar, then you'll be able to get instructions on how to hold it, how to put on your strap, how to play a single note. If you're a pretty advanced guitarist, then you'll be able to learn really advanced techniques like tapping and pinch harmonics. With Rocksmith 1, we really just scratched the surface with a basic introduction to a basic technique. With Rocksmith 2014, we really wanted to break things down more from the very beginning to very advanced applications of each technique. There are more than 80 lessons covering topics for guitar and bass and extra things like tuning and alternate tunings and how to take care of your equipment. We really wanted to boost up the feeling of interactivity with the lessons this time around. So you're not just watching a video and then parroting what you see in the video and then you're on your own. You are watching a video to get the basics, and then we're going to listen to you play, and we're going to give you instant feedback about how you're doing. We're not just saying you did it wrong, we're saying here's what you need to do to fix what you're doing wrong. I get to see a knowledgeable player actually playing the technique correctly. So here's a note and I'm going to try to play it.
I think you're on the wrong string there.
So it's not just telling me I'm wrong, it's saying, oh, you're on the wrong string. Well, let me get on the right string.
You don't need to bend it quite that far. You've got the right idea.
So it's telling me not just that I'm doing something wrong, it's telling me what I need to do to correct my technique. Okay, so right string, right fret, right place. Let's bend it the right amount.
Yeah, that was good.
And I go on to the next video. We also felt it was really important to present each technique in a musical context. Every lesson comes with a practice track that teaches you how to play that technique in the course of a song. You're always in control. You can skip ahead, skip back, replay a section, replay a video, replay one of the riffs. With lessons in Rocksmith 2014, you're not just learning to play a game, you're learning to play music.
And welcome back to the July Encore stream. I'm your host and community developer for Rocksmith, Doug Lilly. Today we are doing our 3rd Guitar Show and Tell Encore stream. And I say guitar, it's a guitar show and tell, but sometimes names can be a little bit off. You'll see what I mean in just a moment when I look very tall as I introduce our next 2 guests. To my left, Adrian, our data warlock. How you doing down there?
I get to look up at you for
yeah, that's
this time
weird.
around.
That
It's
doesn't
a
happen
little
very
bit
often.
Of a change of pace for
I'm
us,
not
but
very tall, but now I feel pretty good. I like this. I think we should keep
yeah,
this
does everyone
situation.
sits down?
Yeah,
Or should we
yeah.
just build you like a
nice.
stage or something?
Please, a dais, a
Yeah,
platform.
there you
yeah,
go. There you go.
yeah. So, Adrian, what have you? What are you showing? What are you showing here
Oh,
today?
what am I showing here? Am I hidden behind the podium?
Yeah, I think you are a little bit.
I'm a little bit behind the podium. All right, so I brought in. All right, we're going to try and make this fit.
We didn't actually. We knew this was going to be challenging.
This is going
and
to
we
be a bit
didn't
of a chaotic
actually.
thing.
We didn't really plan. So hopefully this looks good.
All right, cool. All right, so I brought in a Reverend Kyle Schutt signature model. So I bought this off of a good friend of mine kind of randomly a few months ago. So Kyle Schutt is the guitar player from The Sword, who is a band that some of you may be familiar with. Great band. Kyle Schutt's also done a bunch of really cool solo work. He recently did an album called Doom Side of the Moon, which is Doom covers of Dark Side of the Moon.
Oh, that's fun.
Very much in the spirit of the famous Dub Side of the Moon, if you've ever listened to that. Anyway, but he does a lot of like kind of heavy, fuzzy, kind of 70s rock inspired stuff. And this is his signature model. I knew nothing about the guitar. I hadn't listened to The Sword in like 10 years. When I bought this, I said, my buddy Jose was like, hey, I'm selling my guitar. By the way, thanks, Jose. And I was looking for a new guitar for at home. And so I picked it up, and I was very, very pleasantly surprised by what I got. I had no idea what it was going to be. I knew Reverend by name and reputation, but I'd never played one before. But it's a really, really nice guitar. So it's semi-hollow despite not having holes. So you can actually, like, it has this really kind of weird, kind of dark tone to it.
As it should.
Yes, as it should. And the pickups are actually probably the thing that's most interesting about it. So it has these pickups on it. They're called rail hammers. They're it's Reverend's kind of signature pickup line. I know them because the guitar player from Fu Manchu, Bob Balch, has a series of pickups, and I was going to buy a set of those for a guitar of mine, and then I didn't. And then I got this, and I was like, oh, wait a minute, I recognize these. And then I looked them up, and it's like, actually, I didn't know that Reverend made them. But anyway, so their whole shtick is that they have rails for the wound strings and poles for your high three strings. So they basically are, the idea is that they're supposed to be optimized for the way that string is going to vibrate, and you get better tone out of them. And so this one is kind of their humbucker model. And then this one over here is kind of like a P90 type setup.
Okay.
Or that's what it's supposed to emulate. And they sound huge. So I was tracking so I bought this right before I went into the studio to do my band's record. And we were going to do everything with my Jackson that has EMGs in it. And so those are already pretty loud. But I just brought this in for funsies. And the engineer was like, hey, plug it in, see what it sounds like the first morning we were going to start tracking. And I plugged it in and I was like, I started like noodling, and he was like, "Yeah, we're gonna have to recalibrate all the mics, but we should use that because it was so much louder. It has a huge tone. It's very full, and it sounds fantastic. It plays really nice. It has locking tuners on it that are a little weird. They're these like screw things on the back where you like kind of unscrew them and then you can tune and then you screw them back in. They're supposed to help with tuning stability, and they work pretty well. I mean, this was tuned in C until yesterday. I tuned it up once, and then it needed some fixing this morning. But other than that, it's been very very stable. So I was really really pleasantly surprised by this. It's a really good guitar, and yeah, I mean, I paid they're like $1,200-1,300 bucks, but I paid $800 for it. And you can find them used for about $800. So if you're looking for something in that kind of style, it's a really really nice guitar. It plays really well. The neck is really very thin, which I like, and it was kind of just a very happy surprise for me that this guitar turned out to be this amazing instrument. So
After you guys play, we'll probably see if we can get a closer look at.
Definitely. Yeah,
those pickups. It's a very interesting look.
Yeah, it looks really cool. So yeah, if we can get in closer later, we should definitely do that.
And there's and Jackie's instrument, Jackie's guitar, also might want to be get some close-ups. So that actually, wait. That's not a guitar. What are you doing? What did you bring?
This is my electric cello. It's called V Electra. It's a company out of the UK. The luthier that makes these instruments, his name is David Johnson. And I had this instrument special made for me.
Yeah.
I used to play a Yamaha silent instrument, and it was so-so. And then before that, I used to play my acoustic with just a pickup.
Yeah.
On stage, but the lights would just like melt my instrument. I'd have to retune in between every song. I'd get weird overtones and feedback when I wasn't supposed to. So it's much better having an electric. Yeah.
And I felt that is pretty. It's lighter than a usual cello. I think. Or is it?
I don't know. My acoustic has more mass, but the wood is much thinner. So this is all pretty solid wood. So I don't know. It's pretty heavy.
And it is all wood.
Yes.
That's because it looks not quite like wood.
Yep,
in
it's
an
wood.
interesting
It's
way.
just painted white.
Yeah, no, I mean, I saw you guys play, and I thought it was like, like plexiglass or something. And then when you told me today that it was wood, I was like, oh, that's cool.
Sort of,
Yeah.
It's kind of
yeah.
neat.
Yeah, and you said the scroll on the headstock was.
Yeah,
your-
so V Electra design usually just has this kind of little T at the top and nothing else above it. But I really like the classical scroll look.
Yeah.
Even though the tuners are down here, which is not how traditional acoustic cellos are. But yeah, I like the scroll. So
Cool.
I had him do that special for me.
And you have we talked about you being a cellist on stream before? I feel
I
weird.
think
that
so. I feel like we did when I very first joined Rocksmith.
Okay.
So yeah.
For a recap.
For a
just
recap.
For people who may not have seen your first appearance, you played cello with multiple groups.
Well, I play cello in my own kind of prog metal group called Gracian, and then I do a lot of guest spots on friends' albums.
Yeah.
So I played on Neurosis Records, Ohm Records, Cattle Decapitation Records, Agalloch Records. So
Just
a lot of
metal
other
cellist,
metal. I'm a metal cellist. Yeah.
Grindcore cellist. I love it. I love that. We actually there was something that I was going to bring up, but Jean 308 asked in the chat this question, which will help explain what we're going to do here when you play.
Okay, right.
So Jean 308 asks, are cellos tuned the same as a double bass or a bass guitar?
They're not tuned the same as the bass guitar. So low string to high string is C, G, D, A. And so it's in fourths instead of, it's in fifths instead of fourths.
Yeah.
And so I had a hard time practicing this song because I just can't transpose fast enough, because how Rocksmith displays the notes is based on fret, and it doesn't make sense,
bass,
right?
Right.
But I am playing the bass part, although I have not gotten higher than like 37% or something, because
so the range
the range is
of the
different,
cello.
right? So my lowest E here is not as low as the E on a standard bass.
So
yeah.
So we're not going for score here.
I'm playing a melodic version.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're having fun.
arrangement.
We're just having fun with this arrangement. So the song that you guys are going to play, Madhouse by Anthrax. So get some of that metal cello going. And if we have any more questions, make sure you reach out to Blackwidow9 in the chat, and we'll ask our guests those questions after we play some Anthrax.
All right. Yeah, the bass tone on this is pretty gnarly to be played with a cello. It sounds
not
real.
not a great tone.
Wow.
sounds so good.
I know, I love it.
I'm so happy that worked.
That was so good. That was so fun.
That was super fun.
Didn't get a lot of questions, but a lot of people were saying that they want to see this duo on stage at some point. So you got another gig coming up.
All right, cool.
I'm trying to get her to let me open for her band, so
Is it- well,
Yeah.
make it happen.
Dark Messiah did want to know about the cello. So there are no fine tuners. It's just the one set.
Just the one
at the
set at the bottom, and I often will do things like just stretch the string if it's just like a little bit of tuning that I need to do, because it is still semi-sensitive to temperature and lights on stage, but not much. But yeah, just the one set.
Cool. Can we hear the Reverend real quick? Just I want to get a sense of the sort of warmth of the
So this is my bridge pickup.
It's so warm. It's a lot warmer than I expected.
Yeah, it sounds very, very nice. And so it has the thing that's interesting about it too is it has this knob. I don't even know what you could call it, but you can go for a much deeper tone or a much kind of like, I don't know if it's really coming through. I'm not hearing it. There we go. Ooh. So you can go for like a much more kind of like, single coil type, kind of much more high end. It's not really like a tone knob, because there is a separate tone knob down here.
Yeah.
I don't know what you'd call it, but it gives you that kind of much thinner, kind of Telecaster-ish sort of sound. So it is a really just incredibly versatile guitar, because and as I said, the bridge pickup screams. Like, I did a whole record of it's fast hardcore and it sounds good.
Right.
It has like a really, it screams real good, but then you can do that really like bluesy, like you can do a lot of that stuff. So it's an incredibly versatile guitar that as I said, the fact that it worked out as well as it did. It was a complete, I just am really honestly bowled away with how nice this
fortunate
guitar is.
by.
Yeah, exactly.
Had a couple other people, Satyr Ketch just wants to say that growing up playing in an orchestra, it's so cool seeing a skeletal electric cello. It's a look. It's a look. And one thing that you pointed out to me, which I thought was interesting, is that the way it's designed, you can just lay it down.
Yeah, so it's flat on one side, so you can lay it down just flat on the ground. Typically you don't want to do that, but acoustic instruments you can't, because it's slightly curved. And then a lot of other electric cellos maybe just have one little thing that sticks out to hit on your chest, and then nothing else. So they become really unstable and wobbly, and it's like hard to just put them somewhere if you don't have a stand or you don't want to put it away in your case. So this is kind of nice that
I had
just
that problem
flat on one side.
when I played tuba. Because
like, what do you do with the darn thing when you just got to go to the bathroom?
You always end up with ever flattened bells, because people put the bells down and then somebody will come over and lean on it, and then all of a sudden your tuba's an inch shorter. Squirrely Ninja actually wants to see if we can hear the cello with a clean tone.
Yeah,
the tone is not great, and we didn't really.
Yeah, that tone is
it's Yeah, that's awful tone. Sorry.
It sounds
eerie
and creepy.
Yeah, but the point of having an electric cello is so that it still sounds like a cello.
Right.
I do run it through. I play through an SVT tube amp and an A10 fridge, and it sounds amazing. And then I run it through some other pedals, but for the most part, this is never a tone I would have. It's this tone.
Actually, Fafnir the Dragon wants to know if there are any pedals made specifically for an e-cello.
I don't know. Not that I know of. I don't think so.
What pedals would you normally use?
I use a volume pedal, which helps because it's not acoustic, so I don't have a lot of dynamics, so it's sort of like my manual dynamics.
You have signal or you don't have signal.
Yeah, exactly. And then I use a super hard-on ZVEX pedal for gain, which kind of just makes it a little crunchy when I want. I also have an Akai. It's kind of a looping pedal, but you can also use it for cool delay stuff. I try to not do too much because then it sounds like I'm just a guitar, and then it's like, well, why bother?
Have a cello? Yeah. And Do you tend to use pedals made for guitar or pedals made for bass, or do you just try them out? And
I just
see
try
what
them out.
fits?
Yeah,
Okay.
they're really different.
works.
I mean, because the register of the instrument is kind of in the middle, I can really use both. Like I've played through guitar amps before, and it totally works. But I'm not quite as low as a bass, but I tend to gravitate towards the bass amps, anyways.
Cool.
Yeah.
And I think that's all the questions we have for now. I would like to get some close-up looks at both of these instruments, and then if that's possible, and then we'll probably wrap it up. So let's take a look at the Reverend first, if we can.
Should I
'cause wanna
stand up?
see
What's
those-
the best way to do this?
Probably if you bring the guitar.
All right,
Crotch
let's
shot.
all right, I'm
Yeah, this is
trying.
gonna
Yeah,
be-
right.
This is why we don't. This is
yeah.
why we don't plan.
Yeah,
to
right.
have these
Exactly. Who
adventures
plans? All right,
on
where am I
stream.
going with this? All right, here we go. So, so this is kind of the pickups I was talking about earlier. Is that somewhat in focus? Cool. So as you can see, it's got rails up here for the wound strings, and then these the poles for the high strings. And I said this is kind of this P90 style setup. And then over here you have kind of a more humbucker-ish type thing, you know, what you'd expect there. And as I said, I mean, it's just a very nice guitar. Look, and it's very light. That's the other thing. Even for a semi-hollow, it's really light. And then as I said, these locking tuners on the back are kind of really cool. They're just, ooh, that's very out of focus. Is that going to autofocus? There we go. So there's these tuners that like they kind of unscrew like this, and this is literally just a screw I think that sits in there and like pushes on the string. Once it's in place, you can pull it all the way out. But like you kind of unscrew it, tune the string to whatever you want, and then you screw it back in, and it'll supposedly hold the tuning for much better than it would if you just kind of normally tuned a guitar. But yeah, so that's the Reverend Cal shit. Check it out if you're interested. It's a fantastic guitar, and yeah, for its price point, it's.
I'm curious about the pickups. If the design on the pickups is there just so that you know what's sort of going on with them.
I'm not sure, honestly.
any
That
function
I'd
as
have
far
to
as
defer to
the-
someone
the-
that knows more about pickups than I do.
Maybe that might be a Pody question.
That might be a Pody
Well, that's
question.
Pody.
Yes, we'll have to get.
And
I know I thought for sure Pody'd be on this stream, but
he was.
I guess
he was.
not.
Yeah, he was not in today.
Yeah.
So and let's take a look at this this rad cello.
So
You can probably unplug now if.
this
if
is the
that's
important
suitable
part
for you.
here. This is the pickup is actually, it's not like guitar pickups, which are usually magnetic, right? This is a piezo pickup, which is amplifying just the vibrations of the strings. I don't know if you can see that, but there's the thing that just turns it electric. My little 1/4-inch jack is right in there. You can see
Such
it.
a cool looking instrument.
Yeah.
I love it. It's so
And then the
ancient.
tuners are down here. V-Electra is the company. Yeah, the luthier is really, really talented. And like I was saying before, he made the scroll custom for me. And then the strings just kind of come in. They're the little nubs are on this side.
It's like a Westworld cello.
A what?
Yeah, that's
Westworld took the design
know,
of your
it's
cello and
funny.
applied it to the entire.
I got it in white. I could have picked any color. I got it in white because I love the color white. I love white guitars and
yeah.
But not until I started playing it a lot that people were just like, it looks like whale bones, or it looks like bones, or it looks skeletal, or it has all these association with bones, which I wasn't going for, but I guess it's cool.
I mean, it looks
works.
great under stage lights. Like that's the thing. White instruments are always going to look
Oh,
great under
yeah,
stage lights.
It
So
just picks up whatever light is.
It's definitely a kind of a cool.
I just realized we match our jerseys.
I know. I know.
We're
We
like
really-
80s
this-
thrash.
we really
What?
planned this out, right? Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you both very much
Thanks
for
Thanks,
joining us.
Doug.
And
Rad.
sorry, we
Thanks
had
for
to,
playing. That was
sorry
fun.
we had to be so
Thanks for being down
so
to
low
play
down here.
Interact. Yeah, I know,
Yeah.
right? You want to come down? Come down to our level.
All right. So yeah, thank all of our guests for coming in. Thank you for sticking around with us for this extra long Encore stream. We will be back on Thursday for our weekly dev stream, which will feature the Rocksmith Expert exercise. Sorry, Rocksmith Advanced Exercise Pack, which will have 10 new exercises, 5 for guitar, 5 for bass, which are a bit tougher than what you've seen so far on the easy and intermediate packs. So that's coming on Thursday. And again, we're on social media. We're on Facebook, facebook.com/Rocksmith, and Twitter and Instagram @RocksmithGame. Thanks for joining us, and we will see you in a couple days. Bye.
Peace.